Hi guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Dennis and today we are talking about two ways to make an emergency container to include in our kit, in our possible pouch. Often people go in outdoors without carry a metal cap or some kind of mess kit, and this becomes a problem when something unexpected happens and we are thrown in an emergency situation where we need to boil some water to purify it, or to keep the water inside a water bottle attached to our body to mitigate the risk of hypothermia, or again to drink hot water, hot drink, to mitigate the risk of hypothermia again. To do that, we can use a kitchen tray in aluminium, and of course we can also try to use a simple kitchen aluminum foil, but in my idea the containers made in this way are not rigid enough to be safely handled in an emergency situation. I don't know if in your country, in the market store, you can find this brand. I tested trays from different brand, and this is the best I used, because is thicker than the other, and in this way is more the container become more rigid and durable than the container realized with trays from other brands. The idea is to have a container that we can carry with us without taking space, because this allow us to carry it in our chest pack, okay? In our possible pouch we can decide to carry it in the lid of our rucksacks, in the back panel, along the back panel of our backpack, in different way. The goal is to have something that doesn't take space and that doesn't weight. Today I'm going to realize the container that can fit in my big Hill People Gear chest pack. It is a little bit bigger than the Numbat chest pack from Helicon Text. The sizes of my chest pack are 29 centimeter for 17 centimeter. So I decided to realize a container with a base of 25 per 15 centimeter. We start by cutting the base from the tray. We have to take care not to damage the base with the tips of our scissors, but also don't cut ourselves with the edges of the base. After the cut, this is the base I obtained. Now, using a ruler, I will draw the rectangular base of my container on it, and the signs on this base will help me not to go wrong. Here you can see the try base with a rectangular form drawn on it. In red, the wall of my container, 5 centimeters each wall. In blue, the base of my container, but it become square. In black, the excess of the tray, but I can cut off. This is the container in the flat form. Now I will fold two sides, two walls. I am not folding the all walls, because if I do it, I produce in the corner. It's easy to produce in the corner some small holes, and when in emergency situation I rebuild my container, the water leaks from the small holes. Using the ruler and a pen, I go over the line I marked before. In that way, it will be easier for me recognize the point where I have to fold the walls. This is the final result. I use my chest pack as a possible survival pouch. So inside I carry what I need to build a shelter, to take care of my small wounds, light a fire, purify water, make signal, fight against hypothermia, eat, drink something. I can take my small container and put it inside the chest pack. It stays inside the foam liner, and the other gear protect it, avoiding any deformation. In the second part of this video, we are going to be in outdoors where we will simulate an emergency situation and the use of this container. But now we can work on the second kind of emergency container, but in the end will be like this. In any case, I suggest to use some aluminium kitchen tray without design on the base. As you can see, this is completely flat and has not this kind of design, but can create some problems when you design, when you draw on it, when you fold it. In this case, with this kind of emergency container, it will be easier, because what we need is simply to have the short side of the emergency container, but match the long side of our chest pack. After the cut, I obtain a base of my tray with 20 centimeter for 30 centimeter. It's a bit smaller than the long side of my chest pack, but you can also look for another kind of container without any design on the base, but with dimension close to the dimension of your chest pack. In this case, it's mandatory have not any design on the base, because we have to roll it as a cigarette on itself, and with this design we would have some rigid line, but could make it more complex. Before roll it, I need to draw the base and walls of the containers with walls 5 centimeters. So I will obtain a container about 10 per 20 per 5 with a capacity of about 1 liter. I drawed the base and walls, then with the tip of a pen I went over them. So in the emergency situation, when I will unroll it, it will be easier for me understand when I have to fold the walls. Using something with cylindrical shape, in this case 2 chemical light, I aid me to roll the aluminium base on itself. Using 2 cable ties, I lock the tube and this is my emergency container. I can also use it to blow on my fire to give oxygen to it, and it's small enough and hard enough to stay in my possible pouch. In next days in outdoor, we are going to try to use them. This kind of setup of way to make the container avoids any folding action, but could damage the base, making some kind of holes. This afternoon I got lost. I wasn't able to find the route to my car, and I discovered I have to pass a night in the woods. So, according to the situation, I prepared my shelter with a bed of dead leaves, and started a small fire for my necessity. Making the bed, I take the opportunity to clean the soil, but is one of the basic safety rule when we decide to light a fire. Now, but the dark is coming, I want it some water to drink, to rate my body, and maybe to put in my water bottle to take against my body during the night to avoid the risk of hypothermia. But I have not with me a metal canteen or a metal cup or a mess kit. So what can I do to avoid this problem? In my possible pouch, I carry with me my emergency container, but is very light. It take no space, and it's very flat. So I can try to rebuild it and put water on it, to place water on it and heat the water. In this case, I fold the wall of my container, I made the corner, and in this way I have a small metal cup. Is not nice, is not beautiful, but maybe it works fine. Now I place the water inside. 1 liter of water. Okay, half liter in my emergency container. Now I have to put it on the fire. Now I put my emergency container on the fire. I use 2 big pieces of wood to support the container. And now I put other kindling on the fire to make the fire alive. While the fire is working, eating my water, we can see how use the second kind of emergency container. I take off the cable tie. Now I unroll the emergency container. I can see the light lines showing me how to fold the container. First corner, second corner, third corner, and the fourth corner. So we have another emergency container that can keep about 1 liter of water. When the water in the other container seems to start boiling, we can change container to see if also this kind works fine. As we can see, the water is in light boiling, so we can consider we reached our goal. Using my gloves, I try to take off the boiling emergency container. As you can see, I managed the container. I was able to handle it without any issue, without any deformation, but lead me to spill water aside. Now, the second container. Okay, I put the fire close to the container. Also, in that case, the water is almost boiling. Using my gloves, I take off the emergency container from the fire, and you can see that the container doesn't leak. The water stays inside. I have hot water to mitigate the risk of hypothermia. I can maintain the water on the fire also if it doesn't boil with a long time. We have the, I don't know if exists in English, the pasteurization, I don't know, but after a long time at high temperature, also if the water doesn't boil, all bacteria, viruses and protozoas inside die, and we can drink the water in a safe way. In this video I show you as using a cooking aluminum tray we can realize an emergency container, very flat, very light, but take no space, and we can carry in our possible pouch, survival pouch, in our chest pack, in the backpack, and use it when an emergency situation arrives and we have not the metal cap or the mess kit. Now I can put the water in my Nagene and place a tea bag inside to drink something hot. If you enjoyed this video, thumb up, subscribe to the channel and click the bell to be notified when another video arrive in next weeks or next months. Cheers!